Here's a really good trumpet warm up you can do every day. So this warm up is based off of the Arban's page 13, number 10 exercise. And most of you are familiar with Arban's. Maybe many of you don't know that it's actually here in America, it's free because it's public domain. So if you'd like to download the book for free, you can go to imslp.org and you can see that they have the older version of the Arbans there and you can download that in PDF form. So take a look at page 13, number 10. You notice that the exercise goes up in half steps. So I actually learned this from Mark Inouye. He's a principal trumpet player with the San Francisco Symphony. And I took a lesson with him, and this is what he gives all of his students. So what he did was he took that first exercise and then wrote it down in half steps. So what I like to do is use a metronome. And the metronome I use is the Matrix MR500 if I'm not using my phone, but I'm using my phone to record this video. So we're going to use this metronome. It's old school, obviously, and it's one of the few metronomes that's cheap and is loud enough so that I can hear it when I play. All right, so I set it at 60 beats per minute, and we're going to do this in cut time. The other thing I like to do is if I'm, once again, not using my phone for the tuner and the metronome, let me turn this off, is I like to use the Snark tuner, and I just attach it to my bell here. You can attach it to the lead pipe or anywhere, other parts of the bell. And what I like about this tuner is that if you're in a band situation, it will just pick up your instrument while you're trying to tune. Now, as a side note, I generally don't like to leave it on while I'm playing in a section because then I feel like everybody thinks that I'm just tuning to the tuner and not using my ears. All right, let's go. So I'm trying to keep the air moving, and it's good to visualize. Let's say you have a bunch of, I don't know, this sounds wacky, but you have a bunch of apples, right? These apples are hanging from a string from a tree. You take an arrow, you shoot that arrow through each apple. The apple represents the notes. The arrow represents your air. So you want to make sure your air is constantly moving and not stopping. So a couple things that may happen when you're warming up. Obviously, your lips might be stiff and whatnot. You want to go slow. But what will happen as the interval gets wider, you start to stop your air like this. So if I'm going, see that? Technically, I'm not tonguing the top note, but I stop the air and then start it again. So I'm doing a breath attack. So really, I'm not continuously blowing air. And then what happens is you just take that exercise down in half steps and continue on in the same fashion. All right, so let's put the tuner on, metronome on, we'll go down a half step. Right, I'll try to do it in one breath, but if you're having a problem going through it in one breath, take a breath halfway through, so it'll sound like this. And what we're trying to achieve here is consistency in color and sound and tone in every register on every note. And it's something I work on every day every year for my whole life. All right, so I hope this exercise works for you. Try it. And then after you do this, maybe you can go to page 13, number 10 in the Arban's book. Now, the new Arban, I don't know if the page numbers are the same with the new Arban's book, but they changed the edition, so it's all different now. But then go to page 13 and do that exercise, ascending, and you can take it as high as you want. All right, I hope you enjoyed that, and we will catch you in the next video.